talk about Bonnie Blue and her interview that she just did about her being pregnant. So let's watch this interview, and then at the end, you guys can let me know what you think.
Joining us, and
Thank you.
congratulations on the pregnancy and the baby.
I know. Thank
How
you.
far? Can I ask how far down you are?
Far enough to know the baby's healthy and
Okay.
I'm doing fine.
Good. Do you know the sex of the baby or not?
I do.
You're not sharing it.
Not yet.
No. Okay. Fair enough.
This would be too wholesome. I need to share it in a really disgusting manner.
Okay. Can I ask whether pregnancy though has changed your attitude to the work that you do?
No. I mean, it's been hard. Like, I've not found pregnancy easy. Like, morning sickness is well and truly throughout the whole day, and it's not just been in my first trimester.
No.
But in terms of me wanting to continue filming, that hasn't stopped or it hasn't slowed me down.
Surely it must change the kind of things you do that rules out certain stunts, perhaps.
Made me want to be more careful in certain elements, but it has not stopped what I'm doing or me wanting to invite the public.
Don't you think this is dangerous for the baby? I mean, you're having a bunch of strangers around you when you're pregnant. And actually, there's a fetish. There's like a pregnancy fetish too, and that could make it even worse. Like, these guys start stalking these women that do OnlyFans and different on different platforms, and that might make it even worse if they have that kind of fetish. Is she not like putting this in perspective?
People might hear you say that and think, oh, hang on, but you're pregnant. Does this stuff not stop for anything? You're pregnant.
I mean, a lot of people, I've been posting clips recently of me having intercourse whilst pregnant, and they're like, oh my God, you can't do that.
But
And
you can.
Yeah, I think to most people, shocks, whether women want to say you can or can't have it, you can. Like, it is okay and it's healthy. And to me, having sex with one person for 6 hours or a large group of men for 6 hours is the same thing to me. It's just different shapes and sizes.
That's not the same, by the way. It's not the same. That's crazy. Her the way she thinks is so nuts. And the fact that she's calmly saying this and acting like it's just perfectly fine, like she's like a sane person, makes it even more scary to me, because it's almost like, people resonate with that part of her. It's like she's acting as if this is okay, and that makes other people think that it's okay, and it's really not. It does make a difference if you're having relations with one person or a whole bunch of people you don't know. It kind of does make a difference.
It's clear from the documentary on Channel 4 that lots of people watched, and from interviews I've seen you do with other people as well, that you are a very smart businesswoman. You know what you want from what you're doing, and you know why you're doing it, and you tell everybody that you enjoy it as well. It's not a chore for you any more than anybody's job is.
For sure.
There may be days, of course, when it feels like a chore or you get tired or whatever, but no more than that. Not traumatizing to you is how you put it. You're also changing the porn industry, it seems to me, redesigning it in a way, because you want it to be not just public facing, but public involving.
Yeah.
Why did you want the public literally up close and personal in that way?
Because when I used to watch content online, it's so unrealistic. It's made to look like it's genuine and authentic, but how many times do you call your plumber and then the next minute you bent over your kitchen counter? Like, it just doesn't happen. And there's
a lot. You were asking me for real. Never.
I mean,
just so you know, never. No.
But there's always been like men in the adult industry that are filmed with people dressed as schoolgirls, or they're implying they're super sweet and innocent, and the next minute they're having sex. And that's just not the reality of it. Nor do people have these perfect perky boobs and flat tummies, and it's not necessarily relatable. And my content is meant to be relatable to the audience. So there's no better way of doing that than me just inviting the public.
But hold on a second. But it's not relatable to the public because most women don't have relations with 1,000 guys in one day. And most guys are not, lining up when they just turn 18 with 1,000 other men to go have relations with one woman. How is that relatable? What?
Whether as a mother to be or prior to being an expectant mother, do you accept that you draw a very firm line at the age of 18. I know people have criticised you heavily for the barely legal stuff and everything, but you draw a very firm legal line there. But do you accept that underage kids, say between 13 and 18, 15, 16-year-olds, are watching your content?
Yeah, they probably are, but they're watching it anyway. Like, it's not just me they're searching for other adult content creators. And that's where it comes down to the platforms to have stricter rules. And I think they have recently brought in a lot more rules about underage people watching content. So that's not down to me. That's down to your parents. That's down to watching what your kids are getting up to. Like, I cannot be responsible for what a 13-year-old is doing.
Well, you mentioned
that somewhat, but you are making a mark in society. You are changing the minds of these young boys, and the content that you're making is actually making them have unrealistic relationships with other women. Like, does that make sense? Like, young men are now becoming more violent when they have relations with other young women, and the young women are saying, I don't like being with this boy because he's more violent. It's creating a more violent atmosphere that is not realistic. It's not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to have a loving relations with people, not a violent relation that they see online. So you are affecting these young people, whether she likes it or not. That's
stricter rules. The government has just had a consultation and finished the consultation this week on whether to ban social media for under 16s. Would you like our country to go that far, the same way Australia did?
No.
Why not?
I just don't think so. Like, social media can be damaging for sure, but so could drinking on the park with your friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, at 16, they're already doing stuff. They're already up to mischief. The more you restrict them, the more they're going to go and do something else anyway. So I just think it's more.
We're also her customers. It's like, as young as I can get them and then keep them for years and years, they're also customers.
Being more careful what they're up to, or restricting certain things they can search for. Like, maybe if they're under the age of 16, they can't be searching Bonnie Blue, but they can still go on social media. Like,
but can they? I think they can at the moment, can't they?
They can, but I mean, like, instead of just banning social media, which is ridiculous, often the news can be more fake than what social media is.
So you think it's a sledgehammer to crack a nut to do the overall ban from?
Yeah, I think you should 16. It's lazy, I think, just banning it at 16.
So what I noticed in the Channel 4 documentary, which I rewatched ahead of speaking to you today, I noticed that you pivoted towards a younger and younger audience, if that's the word for it. And I mean, people also engage with you as well, have sex with you as well. Is this in your mind? Are you something of a sex educator? Is that how you see yourself?
Yes and no. Obviously, I can play into that, but it's part of that is rage bait. But part of it, like, when some of these men come and sleep with me, and I don't just mean the 18-year-olds. I mean the ones that are in their 40s. Like, you can be a virgin at any age, and you can have a lot of sex, but still be so bad in the bedroom. Like, I've had one-night stands. I've dated people in the past, and they think they're amazing, but they are terrible and they need to be educated. So, like, when I have sex with the public, often I'm saying, oh, this is what I like, or I'm asking them what they enjoy, and they become a lot more confident and comfortable with me, because I'm not expecting them to throw me around the room and have me upside down and making my eyes water and it looks like my makeup's dripping. Like, it's very real. Like, sometimes guys last 10 seconds. Sometimes I can't even make them finish, or they can't get hard. So I explain to them that's fine. That's normal. A lot of people in porn inject, take tablets. It's so fake. It's so stop-start. But they don't know that because they don't see that. So when I work with the public, it's nice to be able to educate them on the reality of what happens in a professional shoot.
But if let's say as a fact that younger kids are watching your content, not all of your content, I'm going to say something, but it doesn't apply to all of your content. But to the most extreme edges of your content that's available online, I'm only speaking for myself. When I was 14, 15, and you're starting to, well, you were well ahead of me there, but because 13 was when you were but you're thinking about your sexual self and how it's developing and all of that. Your content would have made me frightened of sex when I was a child.
Yeah, I think it depends, because to me, it's very relatable. And I don't mean because I'm surrounded with loads of men, but I explain some guys don't get hard. Sometimes you might not be naturally wet, and that's okay. Whereas I think if you just to watch content online, you're made to think your body's meant to look a certain way. You're meant to act a certain way as well. And like, that's not normal. Like some of my tapes that I upload, they're 10 seconds. The guy's giggling, the guy's nervous. And even I'm like...
Yeah, but you're gorgeous and you always look gorgeous, and loads of other content providers on OnlyFans, and you're on Fansly now. They do attempt anyway to look gorgeous, and you know so there is a look, isn't there, that people want to attach
I might
to this
fall
behavior.
into a certain look, but the people I work with don't. And a lot of the time, if you just watch a normal content creator's content, both of them probably fall into that. I work with people that condoms would need vacuum sucking onto them because their penis is small, and that's fine, but you don't see that in porn. You just see these massive penises and they look like they know what they're doing, and reality is that's not the case. So like, okay, maybe to some people my content might look intimidating, but it also shows to the majority of men, don't think you need to look like that, don't think you need to.
She's trying so hard to make this sound like it's realistic, right? But it's actually the most unrealistic scenario these guys could be in, right? It's just, when are you around another 1,000 guys having relations with one woman? And she's like trying to make it like this is, more realistic because it's just real men, it's just real men off the street. But this is the most unrealistic scenario, and this is so damaging to young men and how they think of women. They're not going to think of women as loving a sweet woman that I should marry. You're turning women into a product. They're like only good for one thing. That's what she's doing right now.
Less like that.
I want to talk about this so-called gangbang culture that you are part of. You are part of it. Mm-hmm. You promulgate it in a way. But again, I don't want to go on about the fact that you're about to become a mother, because that's not the only thing about you, obviously. But if your child started to watch your type of content at the age of 13, 14, what would you say to them?
I'd explain to them, like, all sex is different. Like, nothing, just because one person looks a certain way or just because a certain person enjoys a certain thing doesn't mean you have to. It's completely normal if you don't actually want to ever go near a penis and you just want to go near a vagina. That's fine. Like, the biggest thing is just communication. And this is where I say I'm not responsible, because it's down to the parents themselves to educate their children or the people around them of what's normal or what's okay or what's acceptable.
But and I know you broadcast in a different way than I broadcast. So for years I worked at the BBC, and now I'm an LBC, and we're covered by something called Ofcom, which I'm sure you've heard of. We're covered by Ofcom, and there are certain things, because I have a platform called a programme and I can amplify things on that programme, I have to be responsible about what I amplify and how I amplify it. Now, I know the online world is different. It's the Wild West in comparison with the kind of broadcasting I do. But do you ever feel like that for you as an individual, you seem to answer a lot of questions, not particularly these ones today, but in other interviews I've seen, you tend to answer a lot of questions by saying, not my problem. I mean, if I did that every day on the radio, I'd be sacked, because there's all kinds of times I want to say all kinds of things on the radio and I can't. And you can, because it's online. I know there are some limits around the law, obviously, but do you ever feel that you are turning a blind eye to responsibility?
The reason I say not my problem is my focus in life is to a certain degree to be selfish. I want to be happy. I want freedom. I want flexibility. I want orgasms. I just want fun. So for the other issues, I say it's not my problem, because it's not my job to. My job is to have fun. And
yes, that's fine, but you're amplifying that, quotes, fun, as you call it, including gangbangs. And I know there's consent in there in your cases, but we've had this recent dreadful case in Hampshire, I don't know whether you're aware of it, where two girls in separate cases.
Oh, is this where the boys
gang raped the girl?
Disgusting.
And I know that's a different thing. To a degree, it's a different thing.
This stuff together.
And again, I can't say for sure whether they'd seen any of your content, so I'm not accusing you of anything here. I'm just saying it's about the responsibility of amplifying that material, because boys are going to see that material and think, wonder whether I could do that. Girls are going to see that material and either fear it happening to them or think maybe this is how I have to accept sex when I'm a teenager. Does that not worry you at all in terms of responsibility?
In terms of what
that is exactly what is happening, what she said. They just did an interview with high school students, and that's exactly what they said. The boys were talking about how sex is, and the way they were talking was very violent, and the girls were scared. They were saying, yes, I have had relations with boys, and they, were physically very forceful in the way that they were acting. And they did a study, and these boys were watching sexual acts online, like her.
Them girls, it is disgusting and horrifying, and them parents should be like beyond ashamed of them kids. And like, I will make sure my kid would never be in the position of when them boys doing something so disgusting like that. But in terms of them girls, like, they wouldn't have to feel scared because of my content. I say, I want to do this. This is what I enjoy. I never say, all women should do this. All women should come and do gangbangs. Like, I don't. And even though I do it and I have it open to the public, you've never stumbled into a room full of blue ski masks and they're asking you to get on your knees. I put myself in them positions. So I'm referring to me, and I only ever refer to me. I never say
she's not taking any responsibility for what she puts out there. When you put these things out there, of course it's gonna have an impact. You are an influencer. That's what you are. Of course it's going to impact.
If you are 18, if you want a loyal husband, you should get on your knees and everyone, you should have gangbangs. That is the words that have never come out of my mouth. So where I say it's not my problem, it's because too much responsibility is put onto me. All I'm responsible for is having sex with consensual adults that want to be involved. The rest of it, yes, I could use my platform for other things, but I also get blamed for so much stuff which has nothing to do with me.
I'm not blaming you for anything.
Oh, no, I know you're not.
I'm just asking you whether you think, when I was a teenager, I can barely remember them now, but I would have had influences, people I wanted to look like or behavior I thought, okay, that looks good, or places you wanted to go. You must have had those as well as a teenager. And the reason I allude to that is that your content is that now.
Yeah.
So boys and girls who are examining sex and looking at it and wondering about it and wanting to do it and deciding how they're going to go about it, for some of them, gangbangs, even though you're talking about just you and you're right to point out that everybody in that room has consented to it, because there's a sign, they sign consent.
It's very strict, yeah.
They'll look at that and think it's part of sex, and it's only part of sex in a good way where it's consensual, isn't it? But you can easily see a 15, 16-year-old boy thinking, I've got access to that girl. Me and my mates, we could do that.
Right.
You can see how it can become that. And I'm not blaming you for that. I'm just wondering whether it ever plays on your mind.
No, because I always talk about consent. The words, even if you've watched anything I've done, the word consent comes out my mouth multiple times. And it's like, this is what I enjoy. But you could have sex with one person and not enjoy it. And that's also okay. Like, it's about being confident. And I don't have a massive platform for women. Like, my main thing has been for men. But when I have spoke to women or when I have done videos purely aimed at women, I'll often say, like, you need to speak up. Like, you need to say what you enjoy. If you don't want it hard, ask for it softer. Like, don't feel ashamed or embarrassed to ask for different positions.
And that case, you talked about those lads being disgusting.
Yeah.
They are, and their behaviour was appalling, let alone criminal. Do you think that sentence was too lenient? Do you think they should 100% have served time?
They should have gone to prison. Like, I was actually talking about this. Like, I don't keep up with the news too much, but that popped up on my social media. And it's like, they're 100% going to offend again in the future. They have had, no precaution. They've had no consequence whatsoever. So the fact they think it's okay and a judge is able to sit there and say, yeah, you're going to get away free of this is terrible.
Would you work with groups, whether it's from the government to the police or to schools, would you work with them to talk about consent?
You should.
I mean, some schools might not let you darken their door, I don't know, but you're a businesswoman, there's a commercial element to what you're doing. You're not a charity worker helping people with their sex lives. You may incidentally help people with their sex lives in some cases, but would you work with government, for example, on
I would.
Like
I don't know if in the future might be something more suitable, but I think because I'm so actively filming and stuff at the moment, I don't think I would be the right person. But I also don't think your form tutor at school, that's how, when we spoke about sex, is the best person. Like, my form tutor was lovely. She was probably 50, 60, and basically made it so you have sex when you're married, or if you have sex, you have to wear a condom. There was no talk about you could have sex and it feels uncomfortable. So actually you can go to the doctor, something might be wrong, or you need to switch position. It's kind of, it becomes an embarrassing topic.
Or you're right. And or you're lucky enough to have parents who just get straight in and talk plainly about it.
It should be more spoken about, but it is hard because it can be awkward and it needs to come from someone. To me, teachers teaching it, it's not that, it doesn't come across that serious. Or I know I ignored my teachers at school half the time. So when they was trying to teach me or educate me on sex, it was dismissed. I know it was by most of the other pupils.
But doesn't that mean that somebody like her would make it more meaningful, more important, and they would probably listen to her more because of how forward she is in her position on her platform? So I think she's actually the perfect person for this. I don't think she's in the right mindset for this right now. I'm thinking years down the road, when she starts regretting the stuff that she's doing, that she will be the perfect person for this. I see a future for her in doing something like that, but it's not right now because she doesn't think she's doing anything wrong. She actually thinks she's like helping people, helping the public doing this. But there's going to be a backlash to this at some point. Okay, I promise you that. Like, I think after she has this baby, either she's going to be the worst parent on the face of the earth and this baby's going to get taken away from her, or she's going to have a realization of what she's actually doing and start regretting the actions that she's taken right now.
And I'm still not convinced. I mean, you are, but I'm not. I'm still not convinced that that case in Hampshire that we talked about, and your response to it is the same as my response to it. You know, you feel it the way I feel it, or you see it the way I see it. I'm still not convinced that we can afford to be relaxed about boys, any boys, but particularly boys who would go on to do that, having easy access to content like yours.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not about blaming you directly and personally, but it's there. You're contributing to a kind of soup that these kids are consuming. And you say don't ban social media for under 16, so that's not going to be an option. They'll still be able to consume it. It's having an impact on girls, which we can talk about more in a minute, but the boys element first. Do you never give a second thought to what you're contributing to?
I don't give it a second thought in terms of what I'm contributing to, just because, again, I talk about consent all the time. I talk about some days you can enjoy it. Like, I've had sex with one person before and said, actually, no, I need to stop. It's hurting or it's uncomfortable. And that's completely fine. And I've often replied to girls. I've got like a BTS TikTok account, which shows more behind the scenes. And they're like, oh, I had sex and it hurt a little bit. And I'll explain, look, that's not normal. Like, it's not okay if it's hurting you. But again, I can't be responsible for.
So are these underage girls contacting you for advice or not?
No, I have a BTS account, and some of the people will be under the age of 18, but it's not all about sex. But again,
that's terrifying.
The content these boys would be seeing, there's Netflix documentaries about murders. There is sex on TV and films and stuff. It's not just porn. Like, it happens in everyday life. And I think we're stupid and naive to think if we was just to ban porn
or ban you,
it resolved the issue. It's not. There is a lot of content out there, and I always forget what it's called, but it's like consensual, not consensual. So off camera, they would have said, okay, you're going to chase me and have sex with me, and it looks like I'm not consenting, I'm going to be struggling. That's really popular in porn. I've never filmed that, and I really disagree with it. But
so you always make it clear in your films that two or however many people here are consenting to it.
Yes, but there's content that is out there on platforms, and it's been highly popular, where the girls are pretending like they want to get away, or they don't want to, or they're not enjoying it. And those content creators never get criticised. They've actually before criticised me whilst having content on their platform, which really blurs the line of consent.
I spoke to somebody from the charity Bernardo's this week, a children's charity, who carried out research and found that huge numbers of girls between the ages of about 13 and 15, that was the age group they looked at, were receiving unwanted sexual messaging, suggestions about sex, pushing them, just stuff they had not invited, imagery, you name it. And I know this happens across the piece. It's not particularly about it's not just about your content at all. But if you had a son sending these messages, what would you say to him?
They're not consenting. You can't just be sending sexual messages. Like, if you want to chat to that girl, speak to her nicely, take her on a date, like, you don't need to send a sexual message if it's not been asked for. Like, again, it goes down to consent, and you have to read the room. If someone doesn't want it, don't give it to them.
And I asked you earlier about whether you'd work with government or schools or whoever involved with the education of young people. There's a lot of judgment about you, isn't there? There's a lot of people who would reject you outright because of what you do in your content. And it may be that all schools or government might be included. I mean,
honestly, I think people are scared I'm going to sleep with everyone in the toilets. Like, I've done nightclub appearances. I've done a whole list of things. And sometimes they're like, is she going to keep her clothes on? Is she, like, they are genuinely scared I'm going to walk into a room and start having sex with the cameramen or the people in the room. And it's not the case. Like, I very much understand where I'm wanted, and I'll invite people to come to me. Do you know what I mean? You never see me running into a room saying, can you all have sex with me? And it kind of goes back to schools or government or anyone. They're so scared to have me because they think I'm going to instantly just break the law and not have any morals or care about consent.
Do you have morals?
Yeah, I mean, morals is obviously a word which is like more opinion based. Everyone's like, oh, she doesn't have morals.
How would you describe your morals?
It's hard because everyone says I don't have morals, I don't have respect for myself. I have more respect for myself and stronger morals than I do now. The one I used to have to sit in rush hour, work for somebody else, book annual leave, and live the same boring life as everybody else. Like, now, my morals are, I want to travel the world. I want to experience so many things.
But they're
that's
ambitious.
not really morals. That's like, I want to make money right now, right? You know, I know that I can do this to make a lot of money right now. And the more outrageous that I am, the more money I make right now. And there's no responsibility. I keep saying consent, consent, consent. So, it's not my problem. I'm just out here making money, right? That's how I look at this. But, with everything that you do that's considered a big sin, whether you're out there stealing, having a drug addiction, having a lot of sex, gambling, it all comes back to you at some point in time. And you can make excuses for it, all you want, but later on, you will regret these things.
They're not morals.
No, but
morals are about, well, my understanding of morals is they're about how you go through the world in relation to other people, in relation to their well-being as well as your own. So how would you describe
I mean, I take great care of people. They literally produce liquid gold at the end of their penises at the end of it. So, like, in terms of my morals, I'm doing nothing wrong. And I believe
that's her response to morals. That was her response to morals. Liquid gold at the end of their penises. Like, that's enough said. Enough.
As long as you're happy.
Even if it's someone else's husband.
Yeah, again, communication. I've not dragged him there. I've not dragged him out of your house. You clearly have either something wrong at home or there's something either one of you are missing. So in terms of the husbands, again, not my problem.
I get that the husband has made a choice here when he does that. I'm not trying to pin it all on you. But if that were me, whether it's in a porn setting, it wouldn't be for me, but let's even if it's in a porn setting or not, if a married person came to me and suggested we have sex or have a relationship, even though I'm not the married one, I would still say no on the basis that person has a family, and I don't want to be a single brick in the wall that's going to harm that family.
That's what that's called. Having morals. That's having morals. She's not going to register this. She's going to say, it's not my problem again.
Yeah.
That to me just an example of what a moral choice would be. That just happens to be what I would do. But you see it as you almost see yourself as neutral in everything you do. But none of us is neutral in everything we do.
But I see it. Say if that husband came to you and you said no, he's going to go to someone else and he's going to come to me. Like, if it meant I said no, it meant he went back, continued loving his wife, looking after his family, and had a very loving relationship at home. It's not what happens. If they're already looking elsewhere, they're going to continue looking elsewhere. And I see it as when they come and have sex with me, some of the times I don't even get their name. I don't even see what they look like. They're in the back of me and I've not even had a chance to turn around. When we're doing the consent forms are done downstairs. They come in and they've got the blue ski mask on. We're not going on drinks. We're not flirting at work. We're not rubbing each other's legs. Like, it's not emotional. And if I was ever with someone and was to cheat with me, one, I wouldn't stand by it. But two, if they was, I'd prefer it to be meaningless sex sometimes as opposed to a loving affair.
Why is that?
Because of the connection of the build-up. Whereas when some of these people have sex with me, I meet them once and that's it. Like, we're not texting, we're not going backwards and forwards.
Can I ask you about the blue masks? Because in case people haven't seen that, there's the people who come to see you when you're being filmed, or perhaps you tell me even when you're not being filmed, perhaps, but they can, if they wish, wear a blue ski mask to hide their face. Now, again, when I was watching your documentary, when I saw those images, that to me looked even more like a terrifying gang rape. It just did, because it's designed to, isn't it?
It's not designed for that. It's purely designed. A lot of these people have wives, they've got jobs, they've got certain things where they do not want to be showing their face.
But can't you just blur their face?
Have you seen how many men I sleep with? I don't think I have enough money to pay a videographer to blur every single face in my videos. It's so much effort. And also their face can often cross my body. Then all of a sudden, like, some of my content, I'm at the bottom and I've got 20, 30 men over me. The whole thing's just going to be blurred. So having a blue ski mask on is so much easier, not only for my content, it puts them at ease.
But doesn't the blue ski mask make it much more seemingly violent, seemingly scary? Like, don't you think young boys take just that one little change of like not having the face blurred out to a ski mask? That doesn't it take it to like another level, almost like a violent level, more of a scary level? I mean, is she doing this on purpose to make it worse, to make it more violent, to make it scarier for women,
They know their face is covered. I filmed content before on there that said, actually, I did show my face, but can you blur it? And I will, but they're so nervous until I've proven I've blurred it.
How often do you do the gangbang thing? Because I watched the documentary and just thought these were individual stunts, but you do them fairly routinely, do you? Probably
every 6 to 8 weeks. Some aren't as crazy. Some are like 20, some are like 5 or 6, others are into the hundreds.
And since your documentary and since the whole push for barely legal 18, you're looking for virgins who are just about who are 18, has the interest from much younger people increased on your traffic?
Like, when I mainly do these events open to the public, it's more people probably aged late 20s to early 50s. It's not loads of 18s queuing up. When I do things like freshers, slightly different. But the reason the 18-year-old content for me is so good is because a lot of my subscribers are nervous. They wouldn't last long. They don't know what they're doing. And they would kind of act the same in the bedroom as what an 18-year-old. So it's not necessarily the age, it's their lack of experience, which becomes so relatable.
It is the age, though, because she was baiting young boys to come in on their birthdays. Like, I'm about to turn 18 in like 4 hours, and that's what she was doing. There were parents, there were moms running to these places where there's like 1,000 men, and they're pulling their sons out of this because they found out online that their kid was going to do this on his 18th birthday. And it was going to be the first experience that he had would be with an older woman with 1,000 other men. That's what she was doing online. This is not like an innocent little thing. Is she really glosses over what she's actually doing.
You have more. You're continuing throughout your pregnancy, or so far in your pregnancy, to do your work. And did I hear right that you have a stunt planned for June?
Yes, I have a baby shower on next Saturday, and I'm inviting the public to turn my baby shower into a golden shower.
You see, now I'm uncomfortable. I haven't been uncomfortable at all in our conversation, and you're delightful to meet. Now I'm uncomfortable. This is your baby. This is your child.
Yeah. Again, my body, this is what I'm choosing.
Another body as well.
Yeah, with that
when you have sex with them, again, it goes back to whether you're having sex with one person, which most people do throughout their pregnancy, or a group of different people with different sized penises. It's the same thing. Like, if you couldn't have sex during pregnancy, I would not have sex. But you can have sex, so I will have sex.
I'm not worried about you
have sex, right? But there's a total difference, a moral difference of having sex with one person a lot and then 1,000 people once. What is she saying? She's just saying that, she's a product, she's a body, and, it's just an in and out, physical thing. That's it. There's no difference
in sex in pregnancy. I just think turning a baby shower, or do you regard it as a fake baby shower?
Yeah, it's like a fake baby shower. I won't be inviting my family.
No, but your baby's with you.
Of course, but the baby's with me for the whole 9-10 months. So
just make it a sex event.
Because I'm pregnant, pregnancy is a big fetish for a lot of people. And yeah, who knows, I might only be pregnant once, so I'm going to make the most of it.
Do you worry, and I didn't expect to go here in this interview, but do you worry that your baby might be taken off you?
No.
Yes.
There's one thing which is social media and there's one thing which is reality. And I think, I've seen the state of some families, especially in the UK, and they've got kids and continue to have kids and get funded by the government to keep pushing more out. So I don't worry at all that I'll have my child taken off me.
Hold on a second here. With that, there is reality and then there's online, and they kind of both mesh together. She was just saying what she does is real, right? You can't say what I do is real, it's reality, but not this part of it, not this part. That's unrealistic, because courts are going to take that into consideration. Because I have seen even people on probation. I mean, she does live in a different country, but even people on probation, if they're not allowed to drink and their probation officer sees them holding a wine glass online on Facebook or something, they will go back to jail. So I don't know what.
Even though you're openly there, I know you're saying you're not using your child, but I don't. I would argue that you are using your child, because again, it's that neutrality thing that you use in conversations. I don't know whether it's planned or whether it's just how you interpret things, but it isn't neutral to have a baby in the kind of setting you're just describing. I think neutral to invite lots of men in to be filmed to make money while your baby is growing inside you. There seems to me that that's not neutral.
For sure. I think, like most things I do, you'd probably be disgusted in, or you'd be like...
It's not disgust, honestly, it's not. It's concern, not disgust.
Yeah. But again, if people was actually there, it's not as intimidating. These men are actually really sweet, they're nice people. But you only see the idea that I've had sex with all these men and it's not a nice environment. And that's not the reality, and it's not... There's more to show behind the scenes. But
you talk there about some people have a fetish for pregnant women.
Yeah.
Some people have fetishes for babies as well, don't they? Or pretend to be a baby and want to film themselves with babies as a baby. You will keep your child entirely separate from that.
Yes.
When he or she is born.
Yeah. Like, to me, these people that dress up as adults, like, I've been in porn shoots and they've had actual baby rooms and they have adult diapers and people make sex tapes in there and they pretend to be a baby. To me, even though that's above board, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But I understand to other people they do that. And there's a certain content creator that you could probably go and watch for that, but that's not going to be me.
But until your baby's born, he or
How do we
she
know?
has to come along for the ride.
Right.
Yeah, it's, again, if the sex was harmful, I wouldn't do it, but it's not harmful. And it would just be down to people's opinion whether.
I'm sorry, but isn't sleeping with 1,000 dudes in one day kind of harmful? And then like they can find out where you live, they can stalk you. If they have a fetish for a pregnant woman, fetish for a baby, they're going to try to push that envelope with her. This adding a baby to this makes this 1,000 times more dangerous to me.
Agree, and a lot of people won't agree with it, and it's going to have a shock factor to it, and people are going to be angered, and that's part of it.
And don't answer this question if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. It's not the kind of question I would normally ask any woman, but because of the kind of conversation we're having, I feel I can, but you can tell me off.
Yeah.
Do you know the father of your baby?
It's one of many. I'll leave it as that.
Now you're doing businesswoman stuff.
It's part of my life with the baby or with my personal life, and it's always been the case. I only share so much, and it will always stay like that.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I don't think she knows who the father is. Let's just be honest here. Even if she wears protection with 1,000 dudes, do you think that you would know mistakes happen? I mean, that's crazy to me. Maybe she does know who the father is, but I'm saying there's a good chance she doesn't. Look how she's looking down like that. I don't know. That looks like I'm not kind of sure like who the father is. Anyway, this whole thing to me is terrifying. Adding a baby to the porn industry is really scary. And she says she has she's not going to stop. She's going to continue to do this. And I think she does a lot of rage bait stuff. I think she is going to push the envelope as much as she possibly can and use this child to make more money. That's what I'm thinking. And it's just sad because later on in life, this poor child is going to have to see this and see all the stuff she did, see the pregnancy of himself and how she's talking about this. All of this is going to come back to her someday. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? It's shocking to me. I don't know about you, but I was pretty irritated throughout this whole video because she wasn't taking any responsibility for what she does to society, how people perceive her, the impression that she's putting on young boys and young girls. She just takes no responsibility whatsoever. And then she's bringing a child into this situation. I mean, what do you guys think about this? Do you think the authorities should get involved in this? Do you think, it's my body, my choice, my child, my decision? I'm just not sure. I think when you start putting children into dangerous situations, that somebody might be able to step in on that. I don't know. What do you guys think?